Hey, good morning to everybody. It's Daryl P here, aka Artist in Recovery, and you're joining me once again on my daily bike ride. There's my baby. Like I said, I'm a creature of habit, and now that I'm in recovery, I'm kind of obsessive compulsive. And once I start doing something just for a day or two, I have to keep doing it. So, like the first day or two, I introduced you guys to my mountain bike, and now, as stupid as it sounds, I have to keep doing it. Anyway, all right, I was debating what concert to talk about this morning. I'm going to talk about my very first show. I was 14 years old. It was August 20th, 1980, over 45 years ago. It was Queen. I don't quite remember who the backup band was. I've looked it up before. It was... I didn't actually see the back of the... I made it in time to see Queen. I didn't see the backup band, so if you want to look it up yourselves, feel free to. Okay, I was 14 years old, and I was scared. I was scared to go to the show. I still have, this is one of 2 or 3 concert shirts I still have. I just don't know where it is. When I find it, I will make a video and show you guys. I have my Queen concert shirt, my Cheap Trick concert shirt, and my and AC/DC Back in Black concert shirt, and I'll be getting to that video soon. Okay, and it looks weird. It's so small. You know, I was like 6'2". I had to be at least 6'2". I was like the tallest in my class. But the shirt looks so incredibly small. Like I explained to you guys in another video, there was the bootleg shirts, which were kind of better. They had cooler graphics. They had a cooler burnout quality to them. And then there was the shirts they sold inside the venues, which were a little more expensive and not quite as cool. These were the 3/4 length sleeve baseball jerseys is what they were called, and they were the coolest thing to have back when I was in high school in the 80s. And they had to have the front and back, the logos and everything on the front and back. The ticket cost $8.50 for this ticket. That's probably less than the taxes on a lot of concert tickets nowadays. It was almost sold out. Our seats were way up. I mean, we were literally probably about 10 rows from the top, the nosebleed. It was at the Hartford Civic Center. It holds about, I'd say 16,000 people. It's a big venue. Okay, so like I said, we were scared. We were terrified to go to the show. We had I remember me and my buddy, it was just 2 of us. We had a plan on like how to get out. The kind of like we're gonna stick together, and if anything goes down. You have to remember that about a year before this, that was the Who at the Who concert in Cincinnati. 11 people died in a stampede. That was December 3rd, 1979. And like I said, this show was not even a year later. This show was just 8 months later. Also, I still remember there was an incident during this time. People were in the habit of throwing M80s lit. They'd light them up top, the top tiers, and throw them down. And they tried to get them to go off in the air, but a lot of times they didn't. And they'd go into the crowd and explode. And so, I mean, people got hideously hurt. I remember it was a Molly Hatchet concert. If you Google this, you'll probably find it. M80 at a Molly Hatchet concert. I think it was in Massachusetts in the early 80s, late 70s. You'll probably find something about that. So it was kind of like a war zone, you know, and we were 14-year-old kids. I remember we were sitting next to 2 like 18-year-old girls, and they were cute and everything. To us, they were older women, you know. Like I said, we were 2 14-year-olds. And my buddy was even smaller than I was, you know, so we were just 2 little kids, man. And, you know, so we're just looking, you know, kind of looking over at them. You know, they're not giving us the time of day. Then they break out a joint and start smoking it. And I hadn't begun touching anything at that point, you know. And then me and my buddy were like, oh, no, we thought they were nice girls, you know. They're druggies, they're burnouts, you know. So they were no longer sexy to us 2 14-year-olds. The show was unfreaking believable. This was kind of, in my head, this was between News of the World and The Game. It was early when The Game, the album The Game came out. And that's when kind of everything changed. A lot of people didn't like the way Queen was going at that time. You know, Freddie cut his hair a little bit. When I saw him, he was wearing a white, like, spandex bodysuit, and his hair was still somewhat long at this show. The coolest thing is they had the lighting set up. At the time, I remember hearing it was the biggest lighting setup in rock and roll. I don't remember, you know, they used to say, you know, they took 20 semis to haul around the lighting system, or 40 semis, or 100 billion whatever it was. But the lighting was just unfreaking believable. They had like these 4 huge rotating walls, like you've probably seen Live Killers. The rotating, it covered the entire stage. Like when they moved into, they'd form into a single layer and just come down and face down into the stage. It was the whole ceiling, like a quarter of a football field long. It was just unbelievable. But even more intense than that was the lights under the drums. The drum risers were stepped up, and there was just lights, like headlights, all the way across each step. So when these lit up, it just like brilliantly lit up the entire floor and everybody on it. You know, it was just this blazing light when all these lights on the drum risers went off, and it was just, it was an unbelievable show for my first show, and for being a 14-year-old, it was a hell of a show. The songs I remember this particularly because I was scared. I was actually scared. We Will Rock You. Everybody was stomping, you know, boom, 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 psh, you know, and everybody, I mean, 16,000 people, that's 32,000 feet were pounding on the floor in unison, and you could feel that freaking building shake. You know, for a 14-year-old kid, it scared the hell out of me, man. I remember them doing my bicycle, and everybody singing along. I remember Fat Bottom Girls. I remember everybody singing along to that. Like the whole venue. It was like I said, it was almost sold out, and the whole venue would sing along. Bohemian freaking Rhapsody. Oh my God, unbelievable. You know, I remember him doing the piano parts, and then when the opera part came up, they all cleared off the stage, and that's when the lights started moving around, and they came down facing out, and then, you know, how it starts picking up, you know, when it starts breaking back open, you leave me to die, boom, 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 you know, that part. They all three of them, you know, the drummer, John Deacon, Brian May, Freddie Mercury, I can't remember the damn drummer's name right now. You know, they all came busting out when that part came back out. They were off stage with the operatic part, and it was just, you know, and all those drum risers, those lights on the drum risers just lit up, and the whole freaking place just exploded with sound and light. It was freaking tense, man. You know, for the longest time I thought it was just because I was 14 years old and it was the first concert I ever saw. But looking back, you know, it was one of the best shows. You know, I picked a hell of a show to go see for my first time. It was unbelievable. I mean, the sound was amazing, even for a 14-year-old kid. I mean, it sounded, you could hear the words. Everybody sung along. The lights, everything was just off the scale. An unbelievable show. All right, so check out my other videos. I did Ozzy yesterday. I'm going to do Van Halen. I slept out for Van Halen in 1982, and that's a great story. And I took pictures, and I still have the pictures. I have a picture right from the front row with Eddie Van Halen looking right into my camera. I'm going to put them at the beginning of the video when I do that. That's coming up. Blue Oyster Cult and Foghat, that was my third show. That's coming up. Check out my concert diaries. See you tomorrow. Have a great Thursday.